I have been wanting to make this video for quite some time, but I haven't been prepared to because I didn't want to come off like I was complaining about things, which is basically what I am going to be doing in this video. Hi everybody and welcome back to the Little Miss Funeral YouTube channel. Like I was saying, I kind of came across the idea for this video a little bit ago. I was on some sort of page on the internet and I came across this feed where people were basically complaining about funeral directors and the funeral profession and what we do. And it got me so angry at first because I thought to myself, man, if only these people knew what my day-to-day life was, and if only these people knew what I really did day in and day out, maybe they would understand things a little bit more. And then I was thinking to myself even further, well, isn't that why I kind of created this YouTube channel? So that I could shed a light on the funeral profession and try to take those stigmas away by showing all of you that what I do for a profession is a huge aspect of my life, but at the end of the day, I'm still just a normal person. So I want to try to break down some of these walls a little bit. Before I get into everything, I do want to make it perfectly clear that I do realize that not everybody out there thinks this way or views the funeral profession in this sort of light. So the very first thing that gets me mad when I see things online is when I see people complaining that funeral directors are shady people who take advantage of others when they are in a very delicate mindset. I don't even know where to start with this one. I guess what I want to begin by saying is that there are funeral professionals out there who are taking advantage of people when they are in this very delicate state. But that is not the norm. Just like there are mechanics out there who are going to be ripping you off and doctors out there who probably shouldn't be in this profession, that does not speak for the majority. Those certain people speak for the small percentage that just unfortunately gives everybody else a bad name. Because as funeral directors, we're not working 9 to 5 Monday through Friday jobs, we really do have to have some sort of passion and compassion for this industry, because otherwise there's no way we would ever last in this field. You have to truly love people and you have to love what you do day in and day out to be able to work these crazy long hours. Funerals are expensive. That is no lie. But funeral directors aren't making all of this money that people think that they're making. If you walk into a funeral home and those funeral directors and those people that you're meeting, that you're having contact with, who are taking care of all the details for you, they are the ones who are really putting the hours in, who don't necessarily make the best paycheck. I'm not going to say that I don't live a comfortable lifestyle, because I am very blessed in the sense that my paycheck covers all of my bills. So for the amount of money that I bring in, I know that at the end of the day, I'm going to be able to pay my mortgage, my car payment, my insurance, my student loans. I have all of that covered and I am very lucky. But I am going to say that if you do not own a funeral home, you are not going to be rich by any means whatsoever. But when people have this idea in their minds that funeral directors are all rich because we wear nice suits and you see them driving Cadillacs and everything like that, that's just not the case. There are so many funeral professionals out there who are struggling day in and day out to make ends meet, and they are choosing to stay in a profession where they don't make a lot of money sometimes because they honestly love what they do and they find value in what they do. That's not to say that if you work for a corporation or a very busy funeral firm, you're not going to be making a better paycheck, because there are opportunities out there to live a good lifestyle and to have your personal life just more comfortable with the paycheck that you're bringing in. But not all funeral directors are rich. Since we're on the topic of money, because I kind of feel like that's what this video really is. People out there will always pay for what they find value in. That is why you see people paying $800 or more on the brand new iPhone. Those people who are spending that money find value in that iPhone, so they don't mind dropping that kind of cash. But somehow when it comes to mom and dad passing away, we all of a sudden don't have any money to bury them. And that to me just shows how much disconnect there is for us when it comes to funerals. People don't mind spending $20,000 or more on a wedding, on something that I hate to say may not last forever. But a funeral, something you are literally going to be doing one time for that person, all of a sudden money becomes the biggest issue. How dumb do we as people have to be to not realize that one day we are going to die? Why are we living in such a death-denying culture where we cannot understand that we are not going to be around forever? And since we're not going to be around forever, we should be taking the proper steps that we can now to ensure that we're taking care of our family in the future when we are no longer physically here. When I look at my family and I look back at my mom and my dad and everything that they have done for me throughout my life so far, I am honestly amazed at just the unconditional love that they have shown me by the opportunities that they have given me. And most of those opportunities that they have given me have involved them sacrificing something financially to be able to afford me to do that thing. So when I think of my parents passing away and I think about me honoring them and the lives that they've lived, I mean, it's not that they need, a solid gold casket or anything like that, but they deserve a proper goodbye in which I can spend time with them and say, just thank you for everything that you've done for me. And I'm honoring your lives by respecting your body and giving you what to me is a proper funeral. Funerals are not something that you can have a do-over for. And it's not something that you should cheap out on. I don't mean cheap out on by choosing a affordable option for you financially, but what I mean is you should do something that works for you and your family in order to just honor that life. You have to do what is right for you, but you should do something. The next thing that I want to complain about a little bit is kind of sticking in line with the sense that people will always pay for what they find value in, and once again, they obviously don't find value in funerals. If people could see what it is that funeral directors do day in and day out, I think that the world would have a completely different mindset when it came to our profession. Now, if I was not in the funeral profession and I lost somebody, I would have minimal contact with a director throughout the entire process. And what I mean by that is I would call the funeral home to inform them that my loved one had passed away and set up a meeting with the funeral director. I would then sit down for an hour, couple hours time period to go over the services that I wanted to select. I would then go home and not see that funeral director maybe again until the viewing or the visitation or the funeral or memorial service. You do get to know your funeral director, but it's for just a minute part of the process because you're really only seeing them when you are in the funeral home establishment. Now, when families are not in the funeral home, there is so much that is going on behind the scenes that it is almost crazy to even talk about. So after you verbalize to the funeral director and write down what the wishes are, you go home and maybe there are a couple of things that you have to take care of, like getting an outfit picked out or getting some pictures together or whatever it may be. But you leave that funeral home and the funeral director just has so much to accomplish. We are making phone calls to cemeteries, churches, ministers, newspapers, doctor's office, town clerks. We are driving from one place to the other, making certain that people have the appropriate paperwork that they need, like doctors and clerk's offices, so we can get burial transit permits and death certificates. If your loved one is a veteran, we contact the military and we arrange honors for that. I mean, this job, I'm never sitting still. I may be stressed, I may be exhausted, but the one thing that I never am is bored. If I am at work, I am hustling and I am moving and I am sitting down at a computer and taking care of paperwork, and then I am getting up and setting up flowers, and I'm doing cosmetics on your loved one and helping to dress them, and just should I make a video about just more details like this? Because I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So if somebody passes away in the middle of the night, those families will pick up a phone and call the funeral home, and we answer. If it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I do not ignore my phone call because it's in the middle of the night and wait till normal business hours. If you call me, I will answer my phone. I have gotten up in the middle of the night more times than I could possibly count. I have put my hair up in a ponytail and put some makeup on my face and gotten dressed to leave and go pick up somebody's loved one. And it's just one of those things where when people complain about how much funerals cost, I think to myself, do you understand the price that funeral professionals are paying themselves? We are leaving our own families to come and serve yours. I have missed birthdays, anniversaries, family parties because I have had to work. And this is something that I'm not necessarily complaining about, because this is a life that I have chosen, and I knew becoming a funeral director what I was getting myself into. But at the end of the day, when you are missing your own family engagements, it sucks. It really sucks, because that is time with your own family that you are never going to get back because you are serving somebody else's. And I just wish that people out there understood that dedication that we are making to our communities. Until the day comes when we take care of our dead ourselves, you're still gonna have to pay a funeral director, and you're still gonna have to understand that we have a charge for what we do, but know that we are sacrificing so much to serve you. Is this enough to complain about for one video? The majority of us in the funeral profession are just out there trying to help others in a time of need, and we're just trying to get by ourselves, and we're just trying to do the best that we can to serve our communities. Once again, I'm so sorry if this video was just a little bit more negative, and I hope that you all understand where I'm coming from as a funeral professional, and to understand what we do, which is so much more than the average person sees on a day-to-day basis. No matter how much I may be complaining here, I am thankful for being able to serve others and the job that I'm able to do. And I just hope I made a couple of points a little bit more clear instead of maybe digging myself into a hole. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.